Hello Simmers, welcome back to my channel. Today we're discussing The Sims 5. Before we start today's video, please consider subscribing if you do regularly watch my videos. As you can see, only 1% of people who actually watch my videos are subscribed, which is absolutely crazy, guys. Come on. A subscription is totally free, and unlike Netflix and Amazon, you do not have to put your credit card information into the system before you can access a free subscription to my channel. Once you click that button, you can access all my absolutely chaotic, crazy, hilarious Sims 4 videos. So you're probably wondering, why on earth are you talking about Sims 5? Because there has been absolutely no Sims 5 news, but that is basically like my point, like where is the Sims 5 news? So if you don't know, The Sims 4 was officially released in September of 2014, which is, what year is it now? 2021, 2019, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, so that was like 7 years ago or something, like quite a long time, almost like 8 years ago now. Like, come on, like for a game to be alive after 8 years, that's not normal.
There's something wrong with you, hon.
Not only for it to still be alive, but for it to still like be churning out packs. And in fact, in 2020, there was an interview with an EA employee called Sim Guru Graham, who basically confirmed the reason why they are still making expansion packs for The Sims 4 is because it's profitable and they're making a lot of money from it. Apparently, Sims players are still buying all of these packs. I feel like the reason why they haven't moved on to The Sims 5 yet is a money thing. And you know what, even though it has been going on for a long time, like, do you know what, I do think it is dragging on a bit, but at the same time, I think if they release The Sims 5 right now, I wouldn't be ready for it. I spent all this money on these packs, I don't want to buy a Sims 5 game right now. And you know, EA are making some strides to actually improve the game. I'm not sure if this is related, but a few months ago, EA did actually give permission to the Sims team. In fact, they gave permission to all of their different studios to have all the creative permission to do anything they wanted without getting approval from EA first before they could do it. Since that announcement was made, the Sims team have been making a lot of updates and content renewals for The Sims 4 to currently improve it. Right now, there is currently an ongoing improvement update they announced, which is that they're updating the lore and they're updating all the appearances of the townies in The Sims 4. This year, we got a free base game update with Ponds. Recently, we had a base game update with a calendar. Recently, we had a base game update with platforms. Like, we're getting some good, decent base game updates. I will say, however, they do need... I know this video isn't about me criticizing The Sims 4, and I feel like they are doing these things in order to basically delay the onset of The Sims 5 because The Sims 4 is doing well for them, which is fair enough because if they can make the game work, then why do we need The Sims 5? The problem is, with all of these improvements they're making, it is great, but I still feel like it's not enough. Yes, they're providing us with new content, but what they are not giving us is a game that doesn't lag and break and have bugs and glitches all the time. Yes, they're updating the base game, but no, they are not updating any of the DLC. You know, the base game is basically free. They put it on sale like so cheaply, it may as well be free. The way they make their money is through the DLC, yet for some reason they don't provide any decent updates for the DLC. We know we've got broken DLC like the Dine Out pack that doesn't work, which makes me wonder, why do we still want to play The Sims 4? Because are we ready for The Sims 5? Considering that The Sims 4 is running on technology that was made like 7 years ago, the technology now obviously better. Most people's computer hardware these days is obviously better. They probably could afford to make a much better, smoother, better running game than The Sims 4 was. So why are we waiting? Which begs the question, if The Sims 5 did exist, what would it actually be like? So courtesy of simscommunity.info, the website, we have a ton of Sims 5 news. So one of the most recent pieces of news is that Maxis is preparing the development for the Sims 5 Creator Sim. And we know that basically because of the job listings part of their website. Basically, you can just look, anybody can look, you can look now. If you look on like the EA website, they have all these job listings which clearly state that it's for like a Sims game. Like, you can't deny it's for The Sims. In the job listing, they further explain what the role and responsibilities for the senior cast artists are, including the creation of initial look of the characters and the clothing that they'll be wearing, aka Cass, Creator Sim. But what's really interesting about this job post for the Creator Sim role, it says that one of the requirements for the role is excited by and participating in new business distribution models like subscription services and cross-platform games. Does this mean that The Sims 5 is going to be a subscription service? Oh my god. Well, firstly, it's a cross-platform game, so I assume that they will be releasing The Sims 5 across many different platforms, which I really pray that they do on the slightly offset because let's be honest, console players do miss out in The Sims 4. But interestingly, I just can't imagine The Sims 5 being a subscription-based service. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, I'm just saying I'm not really sure. The problem with The Sims 4 now is that if you take the entire cost of the base game plus all of the DLC, it comes up to almost $800 American dollars, which is absolutely insane, seeming that the game is a bit of a broken mess. So for the sake of saving people $800, let's say that they did a subscription model where you had to pay $10 a month and you've got all of this content. Would that be a good thing or would that be a bad thing? I personally think it depends on the person and their financial position. You know, some people are happy with just buying one or two of their favorite packs. They don't want all the packs, whereas other people want to have every single pack. I think for the people who want every single pack, a subscription-based model would probably be a little bit cheaper, but for those who just want one or two packs that they really enjoy, it does seem like a waste of money. Let me know down below what you think about this specific point, because I, for one, am not that keen on it, but I know a lot of people would. So we know that The Sims 5 might be subscription-based, but it also might be competitive. And again, all this information comes from job listings, which have basically appeared in every single rendition of Sims 5 news recently. So to cut a short story shorter, a couple of the job requirements for the Sims 5 position are: develop responsive, resilient, massively scalable and globally available web services that support millions of players. Firstly, not gonna lie, this probably could be for a feature like the Sims 4 Gallery, not necessarily something competitive, but anyway, moving on. Creatively blend security best practices and original techniques to keep user data secure and prevent cheating. The only time we want to prevent cheating is if it was a competitive game. I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how The Sims 5 could be competitive. It does sound like an interesting idea. One thing that I think's been missing in every rendition of The Sims games is like different challenge modes. Not necessarily competitive mode, but just some kind of challenge. If you think of other simulation games like Roller Coaster Tycoon, Zoo Tycoon, City Skylines, a lot of these games have like sandbox mode, then they have challenge mode. Imagine if The Sims had a challenge mode, like you start off with a set household and you've got to complete specific tasks, kind of like aspirations, but a little bit more detailed. Like imagine if you had a default household that you had to start with and you had to get that sim promoted to like whatever level of position of their job within a week or something, or you had the challenge to get a certain amount of money, or you had the challenge to have a certain amount of kids with this one set family. I feel like that's one of the reasons why The Sims gets a little bit boring. Let's be honest, it's one of those games that we play like hardcore for a week and then we never touch it again, and it's because The Sims 4, in fact any of the Sims games to be honest, they don't really have any challenge. So am I saying competitiveness would be a good thing? Absolutely not. Sims players, I know I am in the Sims community and I know Sims players are not competitive. We would not enjoy competitive Sims, but what we would enjoy, I think, is a Sims challenge, and especially if we could also create challenges for each other. Although these ideas are speculation, one thing that is pretty much certain is that The Sims 5 will have significantly better story progression. One of the biggest features that was missing from The Sims 4, which was so loved in The Sims 2, was storylines and lore. And from, as you guessed it, another job listing, it is pretty much confirmed that The Sims 5 will have some narrative and storyline progression. And again, to cut a short story shorter, one of these job listings says, define and maintain a narrative vision of the project. Explore new ways to bring characters to life and create emotional experiences in a non-linear simulation experience. Work with multiple disciplines to direct and implement the character's settings, goals, and conflicts from drafts in game. Blah, 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 blah. Partner with UX to design, research, and implement features, particularly for introducing narrative elements and decisions. And looking at the qualifications for this job, significant narrative game genre design experience, especially in the area of creating the production pipeline to integrate story with the gameplay. Significant experiences writing fictional stories, ideally interactive experiences. In fact, this one made me laugh. Knowledge of popular interactive story, machinima, or mod communities a plus. For example, The Sims episode Grand Theft Auto Online. It seems like EA are really looking into The Sims 5 in a lot of detail now to get this right. One of the biggest problems I think with The Sims 4 is the lack of storyline, and as I said before, the lack of challenge, the lack of, you know, having a goal or something. The thing about The Sims 4 is like, what, you've got to level up your sim to the highest level in their job, but the problem with that is it's so easy. Once you've done that, what are you gonna do? You can cheat your way out of, you know, getting money anyway. If you want to have money, just Control Shift C motherloads, you know what I mean? There is not that much challenge in this game. The problem is The Sims 1, 2, 3 and 4 generally haven't really shaken up the franchise at all. They haven't really changed that much. Yes, they've tweaked some minor things in different games, but fundamentally they all have the exact same structure. We have a base game, then we have expansion packs which are overpriced to buy like things that should have come in the base game, like weather for example, or dogs and cats. I would like for them to shake things up totally for The Sims 5, and being totally honest with you, I think if they don't shake it up, the game is gonna fail, because if you just churn out the same old rubbish again, you know, everything has a shelf life. People are gonna get bored of it. It is gonna get stale. People are gonna think, oh, another one. But one thing's for certain is that if they do release The Sims 5, it must be a full product. If you don't know, by the way, when The Sims 4 did first release about 7 years ago, it was stripped totally bare. If you look at the base game now compared to The Sims 4 base game when it first released, it was absolute trash. We didn't have swimming pools, we didn't have toddlers, we didn't have ghosts, we didn't have dishwashers, we didn't have a lot of things I totally forgot about, but it really was a bland game. Since then, they have made a lot of improvements to it, as I discussed before, but it's safe to say if The Sims 5 does release, it must be a full game. In terms of what is released with that game, that is when I turn to the Sims community and ask you guys what you think. So I ask a lot of you guys in my Satch on Sims Discord, which by the way, please join if you haven't already. It's just a friendly community of Simmers, and not gonna lie, I have no idea what Discord is or how to use it, but oh, hang on, my boyfriend's calling me. Hello, say hello to my viewers.
Hello.
So one says, I really want a mix of all Sims games, the stories, the NCPs in Sims 2, the open world in Sims 3, and the art style and build, buy and cast from the Sims 4. And I think that's what a lot of Simmers are saying. They just want a mix of like all of the old games. I feel like in every rendition of the Sims games, there's always like positive and negatives. You've just got to like take all of the good bits out of all of them and chuck them in the Sims 5. Another few of them say more personality, open worlds, leveling up skills and having a wider variety of jobs. What I would like to see is like master skills with like sub skills. For example, a creative master skill with sub skills with like piano, painting, guitar, even sub skills like watercolor painting, acrylic painting, arts and crafts. I think having a little bit more depth in that would make it a little bit more realistic, and have it so that if you level up a sub skill, it slightly levels up like the main skill, which helps you to gain other similar skills faster. I think it would work quite well. That's just my opinion. Another one, terrace houses. Guys, hold the phone. Why haven't terrace houses existed in any Sims game since Sims 1, 2, 3 and 4? Like for some reason EA just pretends like terrace houses don't exist. Guys, terrace houses exist in real life. Why haven't EA put them in the Sims yet? I don't know. And like they could so easily be done. Like they could just set it up, you know, you could do a nice sweet little British world or European world with a terrace house. They could set it up in a similar way that apartments are set up. It's going to be super simple, easy. I'm begging EA to do it so much because I don't think it's that hard. I don't think it's that hard. Obviously we couldn't have much creative control over it because usually terrace houses, like they all look the same. But like if you could just furnish the insides of it, like that would be perfect. Another point from a Discord, which is really valid, which is more differences in each life stage. And I think one really valid point about The Sims 4 in general is that like, especially kids and teenagers, they don't really have that much to do. Toddlers don't really have that much to do. But also that adults, young adults and teens in The Sims 4 basically look exactly the same. There is no difference between them at all. Some other people have said they want to bring back wants, fears, memories, lifetime wishes, work out the aspiration system. Guys, The Sims 4 aspiration systems, /trait systems, /dislikes like systems. It's all a big mess. They need to sort it out. I think the problem with like aspirations is that they're really inconsistent. Some of them are like a challenge. Some of them are tutorials. Some of them make absolutely no sense. Some of them are broken. I do think that they need to distinguish between firstly lifestyle choices, traits, goals and lifetime aspirations, because those things are so different. Like it doesn't make any sense to me that being a vegetarian is a trait. Being a vegetarian is a lifestyle choice, it's not a trait. Yet you can only put it in one of 3 trait slots, which just feels so limited for what it is. In my opinion, for The Sims 5, I would like to see a little bit of a difference. Firstly, I'd like to see personality traits where you could just basically set their individual personality, what they like, how they react to certain situations. Next, I want to see lifestyle choices, like if they're a vegetarian, if they're a fitness freak, if they're gluttonous, fitness, if they like cars, like these kinds of things, which brings me off on another tangent. I want cars in The Sims 5. And then I'd like to see a more robust likes and dislike system. Does this person like walks in the nature as opposed to outdoorsy being a trait? I'd rather see outdoorsy being something that you like, or somebody who likes playing video games as a like or dislike. And I'd love it so that, you know, these things can actually change over time, because humans do naturally change over time, but Sims can't. Doesn't make much sense to me. I feel like I want my Sims likes and dislikes, lifestyle choices to change over time, whereas their core personality always stays the same, and see how that changes things. I don't know. I've also asked a lot of you guys on YouTube, and some of you, I've had a couple of comments saying that seasons should be base game, which I totally agree with. The Sims team have just manipulated us into basically paying extra for weather, which is pointless. I'm not saying the seasons packs themselves are pointless. What I'm saying is weather itself should be base game. If you want to add a pack on top of that, which gives you extra fun seasonal activities, that's great. But just weather itself, there's no reason why it shouldn't be base game. I've also had some people saying that they missed just the little finer details that we had in the Sims games previously, especially the Sims 2. You know, if the Sims would cook, they'd actually open cupboard doors, grab utensils out, use them when cooking. In the Sims 4, however, they just do a generic chopping animation followed by a bowl of something magically appearing in front of you. This comment has made me laugh. They want for there to be eyelashes instead of blobs on the eyes. Why are eyelashes on the Sims 4 just blobs? Somebody liberate those blobs. Give us some real eyelashes. We've also had people saying they want cheaper expansion packs. Maybe a subscription-based model would work for that. And also in general, just more support for Sims 5 on console. And I would have to agree with that. The problem with every single Sims game previously is that the problem with the Sims 3 and Sims 4 especially is that there's just too much DLC, and as a result, the only way to enjoy it is if you have a high-spec gaming PC. Even if you do have a high-spec gaming PC, it still lags. And I do feel like they need to change the way that they go about things. I'm not saying I have a problem with the way that they give us a lot of new stuff, new objects, new casts, etc. However, like, being totally honest though with you guys, I probably use less than 20% of all of the content I have in the game being furniture or clothing options. I use hardly any of it, and that's just because there is too much. If they could find a way of maybe making a subscription-based model where they just give us a little bit less, but you can pay option for some more if you want to, I personally wouldn't mind that, because I do think we have way too much choice now. I would much rather just a more robust, interesting base game which had lots of content in it that every single Sims player could enjoy, instead of those who are rich enough to afford all the packs. Anyway, that's just my opinion. If you have any other opinions, let me know down below. Let's be nice, let's be constructive, and let's not hate on each other for having differences in opinions. Other than that though, thank you so much for watching today's video. See you next time.